Cabello and Ed Sheeran. 16 minutes to 3. Let me tell you this local story, because the family of a Biggleswade man who bravely fought motor neuron disease are trying to spread awareness in his memory. James Ellary passed away aged just 23 in June last year, leaving behind his wife and 2 children. This month they'll be raising funds through an event at Santa Pod with show cars, drag racing and trade stands. It looks like it's going to be a really good event. James's mother-in-law Julia joins us now. Julia, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Julia, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us, boy. James,
thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. James had a real love of cars, so this event, it seems to be a perfect fit.
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect. James would have absolutely loved this, and that's why the idea and how the idea progressed.
So what exactly will be happening at this event at Santa Pod?
So at Santa Pod on the date, it's on Friday the 13th, next Friday. There's going to be drag racing, show cars, there'll be music, food stands, traders, and then we've got some special guests as well. So it's going to be a fun day.
Okay. And is it an all-day event?
It's an all-day event. It's 8 till 5.
Excellent. Now, look, if someone listening is in, because this sort of thing is they're fun to go to as someone who goes to these events, but there's an important story behind all this. But if someone wants to go and they want more details, where can they find that?
Right, so anyone who's interested in coming along, if you go onto the website, which is the Autolink website, which is www.autolink.co.uk/GTG. That will give you the opportunity to buy the tickets. There's plenty on there about James's story, and it will tell you everything that's going on the day as well. And you can buy your tickets to register your car for the drag strip. And yeah, everything is on www.autolink.co.uk.
James, it seems, had a real love of cars, so that's why this is a perfect fit.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Can I ask you, Julia? Look, it seems that the time for James between diagnosis and his passing was incredibly short. Do you mind me asking what happened to James?
No, not at all. It was incredibly short, that's right. James was diagnosed in January when he was 22, and James passed in June when he was 23.
Right.
He just had rapidly progressing motor neuron disease. It started off the year before when James just thought he'd injured his shoulder, his arm at work, and then things progressed from then.
So it was just a shoulder injury, and that was the first sign?
That was the first sign. Looking back, from what we know now, there were signs before. James used to trip up the stairs a lot, which I always used to take the mickey out of him for, just thinking he was clumsy, because he was always in a rush or forgetful or whatever. But now, obviously, learning about the disease, which was something we knew absolutely nothing about before James's diagnosis, we realised that that is one of the early symptoms. But the main symptom, which James suffered first, was the loss of the use of one of his arms.
I mean, unfortunately, I've known people who have developed MND and have lost their lives, but I've never heard of anybody being diagnosed in January and then by June they've gone on, and not at such a young age.
No, I mean, this is it. We didn't know a lot about motor neuron disease before this. I think everyone's heard of Stephen Hawking's. Everyone always associates motor neuron disease with Stephen Hawking's. Never in our wildest dreams would a 22-year-old, James, a member of our family, be diagnosed with a terminal illness and be taken so quickly. It was unheard of. James was one of the youngest in the country, and it was just so fast.
I'm actually quite shocked, Julia. I mean, I know of James' story, but I didn't realise the decline had been so rapid. And it is, you all know better than I, it is horrible to watch because it's a disgusting disease.
I think any terminal illness, any loss of a life is heartbreaking. But with motor neuron disease, it's horrendous to watch. I mean, James progressed so fast. He would change by the week. 1 minute he could barely stand, then it would go to one leg, then the other leg, and in the end, it took everything away from him to the point he couldn't even blink. That's what it does. It's horrendous, but everyone still knows they still know what's going on. They just can't communicate.
It's cruel. That's what it is. It's cruel.
It is absolutely cruel. You would not wish it on your worst enemy. And even in the medical profession, there's still not a lot of knowledge on it, because it's something that isn't seen that often.
Look, thank you for being honest and sharing that with Julie, because you never know, it might help someone else to diagnose a bit earlier, and who knows where that conversation could go. Can I ask you, what was James like before this horrible thing affected him? Because a young guy, married to your daughter, 2 young children, he sounds like the kind of young man who had a life to live.
Yeah, so James loved fishing, he loved his cars, he loved his Xbox, he was doing an apprenticeship as a tree surgeon originally, then he went on to groundwork. He just enjoyed, as every other young man in their early 20s, he enjoyed living his life. 2 young children, and he had plans for his future, and that was taken away.
I'm so sorry. I really am. Julia, thank you for being honest. Let's pass on my best wishes to the family. And just to remind us again of the details for next Friday and where people can buy tickets.
Thank you. So next Friday, it's Friday the 13th of May at Santa Pod. And anyone who wants tickets or to find out more about James's story and the event, if you log on to www.autolinked.co.uk/GTG.
Julia, thank you once again. I do wish you all the very best. Look after yourself.
Thank you for having me.
My great pleasure.
Every Sunday afternoon from 2